And you also have to realize that we're not all coming from the same starting block, you know?
Right.
Some people came from abusive childhoods. Some people came from super supportive and loving childhoods. Some people were spoiled as children, and that's what they're the people that struggle the most sometimes. You're seeing kids that grow up in like really rich families where the parents weren't hands-on. They're so disconnected.
Right.
They feel really weird and entitled, and they have a very distorted version of the future.
Yeah.
And those people, it's very hard to adjust from a place of bounty to a place of struggle and success and you know, self-realization. It's almost more difficult for some of those people.
That's compassion.
Look, me growing up as a person who didn't have money, you know, and thinking as when I was a child, my family was on welfare. Thinking, I still can remember, at least I have an idea of a memory of us drinking powdered milk. I remember that. I remember being really embarrassed if people would come over our house. We had powdered milk. We were poor, you know, and that memory of being a young man, of being a struggling young comedian, doing a bunch of odd jobs, trying to make it, like this real hunger and worry. I remember one of the most embarrassing moments of my young life. I had this thing fall out. It was like some management company was interested in me, and they were like a music management company, and they were thinking about branching off into comedians. This guy was talking to me about it, and it was falling apart, and I was driving with my girlfriend, and I was 21, and the whole thing was so frustrating to me that I started crying. Tears rolling, and I remember she looked over at me. She's like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck, yeah." And she's like, "Oh," like she was like mocking the fact that I was crying.
Oh my God.
She couldn't help herself. You know, she was same age. We were both like 21.
Right.
We were both kids. You know, and she just thought it was a bitch move. Just to be crying about being frustrated about your career. And I remember being so embarrassed. Like, why did I let that out to her? Like, why did I let that out in public? This frustration of not knowing where the future lies. But that frustration and that hunger of like wanting to figure out a way to get out of this cycle of working shitty jobs and figure out how to do something that I actually love doing, like be a comic. Like that burning hunger because you don't have shit. That's where it all comes from. When you don't know where the fuck you're going to pay your rent. You do not have an escape route. There's no net. You got to figure this fucking thing out, man. And you're not figuring it out right now. Right now it's falling apart, and nobody thinks you're any good. You can't get booked. Like, fuck. You're trying to figure out what's the next job you're going to get so you can feed yourself while you try to figure out this weird thing that nobody could really tell you how to do. You know, but that going through that struggle, that is everything. But people need to hear that you went through it too. They need to hear that during the dark days where it doesn't seem like it's ever going to work out. Are you alive? Can you see? Can you talk? Can you think? Get better. Get better. Get better at whatever you're doing. Just get better.